Welcome to Stillworks and Brewing. My name is Randy, and this is a channel that's all about home distillation and brewing. Excuse me. All right, so what are we going to get into today? Well, we're still working on the Sour Mash series. Actually, this is week 4. I got it written down here. We are going to distill our 3rd generation, and we were going to start our 4th ferment, okay, and that will be the last one. So that's what we're going to do today. It's starting to taste very good. So let's give it a little recap of what we've done so far to catch everybody up in case you've missed. Okay, so week 1, what we did is we made our starter mash, okay? And they call it a starter mash because it's not even soured yet. So we're getting into that process. And then in week 2, we distilled our first, and we did a stripping run on that. And we started our 2nd ferment. Week 3, which was last week, we distilled the 2nd distillation. And we started our 3rd ferment, and that's what brings us to today. So today we are going to distill our 3rd ferment, and we'll start our 4th. All right? Well, what happens after? What will you do next week? Well, next week what we'll do is we'll distill out the 4th ferment, and week 6 we get to taste all the 4 different generations, and let's see what they taste like. So that's where we're at. This has really been an interesting process. I don't normally distill every week, so it's been a chore. Not really a chore, I love distilling. Okay, so that's what we're going to do today. So let me get set up, and I'm going to siphon. Well, first I got to heat up some water because I need some 75-degree water, and we'll get into that. Okay, so let me siphon off into the still pot last week's ferment, and then which was the 3rd ferment. Yeah. So we'll siphon that over in the still pot, and then we'll move on, okay? So let me get that going, and then I'll be back. Okay, just like before, I got everything siphoned off. Now it's time to get rid of some of the old ugly corn off the top. I mean, it's smelling sour. All right, that's looking pretty good. What I ended up doing is I took half of that container off. It's nice and bright yellow, so I think that'll be good. All right. I've been throwing this old corn out in the grass. Wildlife's been loving it. Can you imagine that? Okay, so the next thing I need to do is I need to put some hot water. Let me get set up and I'll be right back. Pot here I have 70-degree water, 75 I think it is. So what I want to do is just add this in. And like I said, as before, it helps keep the yeast alive. This has been a fun process. And if you really think about it, it saves a lot on your corn. Okay. And what this is going to do, I saved enough, I put enough water in that I needed. And then what I'll do is cover this up. And I left enough room for a gallon of the back set from the still when it's this done. But we'll get to that. It's just like before. And basically what I want to end up with is about 6 gallons of liquid for the next time. Okay. So I got to my corn is at my 2 gallon mark. And then about 6.5 gallons here. So right around the 8 gallon mark is where I'm going to want this to be. It's not actually 8 gallons of liquid because you got the corn in the bottom. Okay, so let me get this out of the way and we're going to get the still set up and then we're going to start running the next generation. Okay. Okay, we're on our 4 shots and heads right now. I'm almost got 1 cup, or I'm about 5 ounces, 5 or 6 ounces in. It's starting to smell pretty good. Starting to taste pretty good. So I'm gonna go ahead to 8 ounces and then we'll be able to convert over to our first collection jar. You got a nice little rate going on there. Smells good. One more second. All right, I think I'm gonna convert over. And I always like to start with a small jar first, just because if I make a mistake, but I mean, it's tasting good, smelling good. That's your best indicators. All right, so we'll be here for a little while. So we'll see you in a little bit. Okay, so where are we at? Well, we got done with this run. I ended up with 3 and a piece quarts, and it started out at 160, and I finished at 40 ABV. Okay, no, proof, I'm sorry. 160 proof I started, and I stopped at 80 proof. Yes, am I right? Yeah. All right, so I just gotta label these up, and this would be third generation, right? Because I don't want to forget where I'm at. And if I don't label something, I will forget. So we got one more generation to go. And that's what we're going to. And these all taste great, and they're all crystal clear. All right. Okay, so I got my dry corn here, my new corn that I'm gonna put in my fermenter, which is in on the shelf. We'll go in there and we'll get that done. And then I'll break my still down, and we're gonna get some back set, and we're gonna we'll do that. So let me start breaking still down, and I need a gallon and a gallon and a quarter of back set. Okay, it's nice and warm. I did let it cool some. 2, damn it, 3, and one more. Okay. Now what I want to do is warm back set in here. And I've had some questions. People ask, you know, why not just save back set from a previous batch? And you could do it that way, but with it being warm, it really melts the sugar nice. So I'm gonna put my 8 pounds of sugar in. All right. It melts up pretty fast. Okay, so we're back in the fermentation room, and what we want to do, I'm gonna stir all that corn up. I'm gonna pour the half a bucket that we took out back into this. Now I just want to pour my back set in. It's cooled, warm but not cold, or not hot. So we're going to stir all that up. All right, I checked my temperatures, 89 degrees. So the yeast will be fine. It's actually starting to work a little bit, but I'm gonna add just a tablespoon of fresh yeast on it, just in case. And then all we gotta do is we put this lid on. And okay. Whew, what a day, what a day. So, like I said before, that's in there for another week. That's going to be the last generation that we're going to do. They say that you can keep going. This is where I chose to stop because there's some other stuff that I want to make. And so what we'll do after this is we're going to have a tasting of the different ones. 1, 2, 3. We'll have 4 different generations to taste. So that'll be interesting. And I guess that's about it. So I guess the last thing I got to say is, hey, thanks for stopping by, and we'll see you next time here on Stillworks and Brewing. Cheers, everybody.